laughing to myself though because
Like Wednesday, happy hump day. I just.
who picked Wednesday?
You! You guys, it was 100% Hannah. This was all Hannah. She was like, middle of the week, yes.
So amazing.
People want to watch us on Wednesdays. Give them a break. Yeah, in the middle of the chaos. Also our chaos. Welcome to 10:04. Welcome to this. I'm over in the bathroom like wetting my curls. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is not going to work. This is the best.
This is the best I look today.
And sometimes the best you can do is the best you can do.
Yeah.
And that is.
Yeah.
And that's where you
And
are.
that's okay.
Yeah.
We should have like a mental health day.
Right. Hey, let's just sit and talk. Let's
about...
just check in and be together. And yes.
I do like these because it does give me a minute to breathe and sit with the person that I'm with for just a minute to talk about things. And like I'm real when I say like I love talking about real estate. I think it's super fun to talk about as well. So it's just a nice little bereavement of the rest of my day.
I agree. It kind of refocuses
I think
the energy and the effort and kind of where your mind is, because you are like, it can be chaotic, right? We just talked about it's Wednesday morning, and why on earth did somebody pick a Wednesday morning? But somebody did pick a Wednesday morning.
Everyone else also agreed to it.
Yes.
So I was...
We looked at the calendars. It didn't make the most sense. But it does give us, like you said, like a little pause and moment to refocus.
Redirect at all the things.
Yep. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. I mean, there are positive and negative to this.
To everything. Because it can.
Life is life, man.
We are, and life is life. And here we are, and we're together, and we showed up, and that's all that matters. You showed up. You showed up. You showed up, and you showed up, and you showed up.
That's my Oprah Winfrey voice.
That was really bad, but good effort, because you showed up and you did it. So we showed up today to talk about market statistics.
Market stats.
Statistics.
Yeah.
So, interesting market. It has been, right, for like years. I feel like we've just been saying, oh my gosh, inventory, oh my gosh,
it's the same thing. Over and over again. I think we have slight variations. I think we have weeks and months that are like, give us a little bit of hope.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're moving, and then you're like,
okay, just pause. But I feel like the pause recently has been good, right? Yeah. Over the past like month and a half, we've definitely seen things more of a leveling out versus a
really
extreme.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. And I think that the stats show that as well. That 100%. We're looking at, I don't think that we're going to swing to a heavy buyer's market.
No,
I don't know that that's going to be a thing that people are looking for. But I just don't think that's going to be like this. It's not going to go.
Yeah, we're not looking at a situation where we're just going to kind of flip where we are in the market, right? It's been a seller's market for years now, and that's the reality of the situation. And that's the reality of where we are, and mostly driven by low inventory, right? We just don't have inventory to support buyer demand. And until that changes, buyers unfortunately just aren't going to have the upper hand in most situations, especially in the current market, right? Spring market, transitioning into summer. Oh my gosh, it's officially the first day of summer.
That's right.
Transitioning into summer, guys. Happy summer. Look at this smile. I just say
although it's summer. Like, I love official summer, but it's like raining all week.
It is. Thunderstorms into the weekend. Oh, which if you saw on our page, we do have an event this weekend, big yard sale in Conestoga, community yard sale that we host annually. And unfortunately, it might not happen if it's thunderstorms. Yeah. Rain or shine is one thing, thunderstorms is another. So keep an eye on our page for that.
Yep.
But back to market. Yes, we are officially in summer. Yes, things have been balancing out, which does feel good because we haven't had extremes in the market, extremes in interest rates, right? We haven't seen any major shifts, I feel like, in any direction, and not even feeling, statistically speaking, data speaking, right?
Yeah, data speaking.
That just hasn't happened, which is nice. Yeah, it allows you
trucking along. It allows us to prepare and to
precisely.
Like you're like, listen, like this is just what's been happening, and we just know that this is. It's almost like status quo.
Yes. we are able to prepare. As a buyer, you are able to plan. You have a better plan of action as you go into a property, as you're looking ahead, right? If you're still in your search and in search mode versus so many unpredictables that we saw last year, right? Last year, there were major fluctuations, whereas this year, we're really not seeing that.
Right.
The big issue that we are seeing as we look at what happened in May and as we look at June and what's been happening, you know, year to date, month to date versus last year, again, is inventory, right? This year, May 2023, 549 listed units versus the prior year, so May 2022, 610. That's a big difference when we're talking low numbers of inventory to begin with, right? You know, today, currently on the market, 427 units. That's not a lot. That's just not a lot. We're talking Lancaster County, and the county's big.
We have a big county. We have a huge county. Yeah.
So our gap in numbers is a big deal.
Yeah. Yep. And there are pockets of pockets of areas that just don't even have almost anything. So
correct, absolutely. You know, I was analyzing gap area recently and looking at the past 6 months at a very basic typical number of bedrooms, bathrooms, and there were 24 that we could use, and that's not very typical, right? So we are still seeing inventory kind of dwindling down. So if you are a seller and you are an owner and you have thought about right sizing, this is still really a great time to be able to do that, right? And use the equity that you have built on your home to get the most for your property, right, through appropriate pricing and marketing that the Delia Group can help you with. Volume. Interestingly enough, though. Inventory levels last month. Versus the prior year.
Right.
Volume is still up. So May 2023.
I feel like that can be confusing.
Yes, it can be, right? Because you're like, well, you're telling me that the units are down.
Right, but
average sales price is up. So that's the big driver there. Right?
Yeah. So the amount of what people are selling it for has gone up, but the amount of homes have gone down, and to a point that it's skewing it a little bit even, right?
Absolutely.
Like increased price point by that much that it's skewing what it looks like.
If you're strictly looking at value.
Yeah.
And I think, and that's really a lot of why we look at so many different factors, because we want you to be able to have a true understanding of the market and not just this tiny little piece, right? Because we could say to you, oh, look at this little thing, but it's not giving you the full picture, and it's not allowing you to actually make educated choices for yourself if you don't have all the information, right? You need all the pieces of the puzzle to make the big picture, so really big deal. Pending home sales is still in the positive this month, which is nice. It was in the positive last month too, just not as positive this month versus last month. But that goes back to again, we just don't have the units. Kind of is what it is. It's just where we are right now. So again, if you're thinking of selling, the market would love your home right now, right? We'll definitely be able to assist you transition appropriately.
Absolutely,
You know, one of the big things that we saw when we looked at May versus April, and as we're transitioning to June, next week I will be putting out a video that recaps May, touches on what June is doing, and looks ahead to July as well. And we'll start doing that in our in my individual market analysis that you guys also get via email. So sign up for that. But last month, days on market was a major shift. So we were looking from May to April. It was like bam. That was the big extreme change that we saw.
And I think that was, is that year over year because of the spring market, do you think? Like people are like, we want it, that, and then they purchase it immediately versus like in the, what came before spring?
Winter. Happy home day. I can't. Oh my gosh, that's too funny. Too funny. Yes.
Winter. So winter. People were not. Not moving as quickly.
Yeah, well, and part of the drive, I mean, there are different reasons for that, right? Seasonality is a factor.
Right.
A lot of people don't want to move during the winter months. It's cold, it could be snowy, it could, all of these factors,
It's a little more unpredictable.
Yeah, also holidays are a thing, right? Where people don't necessarily want to interrupt their
you
flow
have a full
and
week
traditions.
of like,
just
people are not doing anything. Yeah.
Versus spring, there's a little more natural in the human soul, right? And spirit, this idea of growth and rebirth and newness, right? That people, I feel like, tap into, and it does trickle into the home buying process.
Yes.
Not to mention, schools have a factor in it.
Right.
Right? If
it's
you
like the
have
perfect
children
time,
in
can't be
school
the perfect
districts,
time.
a lot of people do want to move after school.
Yeah.
Before the next year starts, right? Or start that transition period at least within those months. So those are only two contributing factors. There are so many other things that we can dive into around it. But yeah, like you said, that is a really big piece of why we see such a dramatic shift in how quickly things are going. So it went from 21 days on market in April to May, 14 days on market. Which is a big shift.
Big shift.
That's a week difference.
That's a whole 7 days.
Yep. And we are seeing properties still selling really, really fast, right? I mean, within hours, days, you have to be able to, as a buyer, quickly make decisions on the property, but also quickly get into them.
Yeah.
And part of that is the preparedness. And I think it's easier to do that because the market hasn't shifted crazy. Right, buyers have been able to kind of hold their position, and know what they're able to do, because there hasn't been major changes. Versus when we were in last year, when the rates were kind of going up and down and back and forth, and nobody knew what was going to happen tomorrow, right? Like buying power changed significantly. Remember that period?
Yes, I remember having like buyers be like, "All right, we're ready," and then like the next week, them try to get some sort of pre-approval up. I don't know if that pauses it or not.
I think it does. I'll call you back.
I
should put it on.
Out.
I feel like I should probably start putting it on Do Not Disturb.
Oh,
my good help. Look at us.
Bing, 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 bing.
Yay,
anyway,
you just need to think about
I had like buyers that were like ready to go, everything was good, and then like the next week for pre-approval, they were like, actually, you're only approved for $45,000 less, and I'm like.
Yep, because the changes were happening
so fast and so drastically, and like the next week everything was fine and everything's back to, and that gives you, I feel like as a buyer, that kind of makes you step back and realize and hesitate and really question what's going on and what that all looks like, and it's
because you don't know what position you're going to be in, right? Like the market could shift, interest rates could change, whatever the case might be, and you just don't know. And the unknown, I feel like in every facet of life, right? Like it's just not fun to operate in. No. Definitely the steadiness and the pace and the predictability to an extent, right, of this market has helped buyers feel a little more comfortable in their search.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
For sure.
And I don't think that there's any projection for like interest rates and things like that to do anything drastic. Now again, nobody has a crystal ball.
Yes, we do not have a crystal ball. We are your local real estate experts, and we're able to analyze the data for you, but we are not able to tell the future, unfortunately. Yeah. If we could, I feel like we'd be, 100%.
Yeah.
I wish I could. I'd like a crystal ball. Is that an option? Is there like an opt-in button?
I would love to know. You know what? I would love to know.
I love your face. You're like,
my future is like.
Oh man.
Anybody out there, let me know.
Yes, please. You can text us, all the things. Give you the number.
You can email us. Yeah, hang on there. We'll be right. We'll be right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I do think there is a certain level of predictability that has provided people comfort because we have seen a lot of people come out of hibernation. We'll say, right? Yeah. Even who were searching last spring and last summer because it's like, okay, there's a certain level of comfortability, and like you said, we don't foresee it changing, especially with the Fed pause.
Right.
Like, we are in a good place right now. So if you are a buyer, yeah, inventory's low, and we're talking about sellers being in a great position, but you're in a really good position right now too, because there isn't major swings, major swings happening, and such a volatility to all of your buying.
It's a really strong word. But yes, it was. I mean,
it was. My A game now.
It was volatile. Like I fell on all like ways, like with the buyers, sellers, agents, lenders, title, like everybody was just so. Yeah. I like to say Harry Carey. If anybody knows who that is, let me know. He was an announcer for Philly, I think, in some way, but he like. Anyway, Will Ferrell does a bit about him on SNL. It's hysterical. I love it very much. But anyway, it's great. So anyway, yeah, it was wild. It was just wild.
Wild. That should be the cover right there. You were like wild. That's the one. Check back. That's the cover photo for our reel today, for our live today. You're welcome. Instagram and Facebook.
I feel so, yeah. Okay,
no, it's fantastic. So moving forward. So we talked about the average sales price, that it has increased.
Yep.
And again, average interest rate, since we saw those big fluctuations last year, we're not even seeing a huge difference, right, from this year to last year. Yes, it's about 1.5%. But if you look at the beginning of the year, we were talking like,
I mean, they were doing that every 2 weeks. I feel like it was going from like 5 to 8 and 8 to, I almost said 2, but it's not 2. But you know what I mean? Like, it was very swingy. And now, like, I feel like it's going like 0.75. We're swinging between. But that's like, if anybody remembers pre-COVID, like that's what happened. Like that was a daily that was the daily change. It kind of happened. That happened throughout the day.
Talking about quarterly home maintenance.
Yeah. What does it look like for your home in summertime, man?
We try to do that for you quarterly. So definitely tune in for those, for that information.
Yep.
We will be back with that. And then the following week, we will continue and resume the first time home buyer series.
Yeah.
And all the fun things that you need to know and plan